Finding the perfect loose leaf tea can be complex and time-consuming. That's what Simple Loose Leaf is here to help you with. With their monthly box of loose leaf tea, you can explore the world of tea. With each box, you get 4 unique teas in resealable pouches. For just $9 a month plus flat rate shipping, you get 20 to 40 cups of delightful tea. I love it so much. Simple Loose Leaf Tea tucks me in at night, rises and shines with me, and accompanies me throughout my day. To receive a 15% discount on a new membership, go to simplelooseleaf.com/CarTea. That's like my last name, CarRTEA. Once again, Charmed Life listeners, receive your 15% discount on a new membership by visiting simplelooseleaf.com/CarTea. Welcome to Charmed Life, a radio show discussing spirituality, magic, and the unconditional love of the universe. Thanks for tuning in. And I am your host, Tricia Carr. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We have a really fun, really exciting show, and I'm so pleased that you would join me on another episode. We are live from the Universal Broadcasting Network studios in Hollywood, California, in the amazing Sunset Gower studio, which has a lot of history. This is a really old building. Every time I bring psychics in, they're like, ooh, there's a lot of ghosts here. So that's the setting that we're in. And hello to Jarvis Essex, my producer, holding it down for us, bringing in the light and bringing in the love. Jarvis is a healer, so he's always setting the space for us. Well, before I get started with my wonderful guests who are in studio with me, I just have a couple of announcements. I wanted to let y'all know about a program that I am doing, and the enrollment is open right now. It's going to be closing actually tomorrow. So you've heard me talk about the Lightworkers Lab, which is this incredible spiritual community of which I am a teacher and a moderator. This community, the Lightworkers Lab, is founded by Crystal Ann Compton, who is an intuitive channel spiritual teacher. She has 400 or more videos on YouTube. She has incredible programs that she teaches as well. Like, for example, I know she's starting just this week one that is all about angels. And she teaches folks whether you are one who wants to move forward into an intuitive profession, some kind of spiritual entrepreneurship or something like that, or if you just want to learn how to work with angels in your life and whatever you are endeavored to do. This is one of Crystal's classes that is starting right now. So you can find that class at crystalanncompton.com. I think her enrollment is still open. But Crystal and I are collaborating on a teacher development program. This is for folks who are spiritual teachers, coaches, inspirers. If you are someone who likes basically what I'm doing here on my show, where I do some teaching and maybe some reading as well, but I do teaching, or you see folks like people that I've had on my show, like Victor Odo or Bridget Nielsen, these different folks who are inspirers on YouTube or speakers in public forums, or for classes, and if you wanted to do online classes and you wanted to write books, this is actually a program that you might be interested in. And what it also does is it is a qualifying class that would allow you to become a teacher in the Lightworkers Lab community, which is this growing community that's beautiful, it's safe, it's powerful. It is hosted on Facebook as of now. At some point, it's probably going to move to its own network. But right now, if you wanted to join the Lightworkers Lab and find out about this program, go to Facebook and just search in groups for the Lightworkers Lab. You can request to become a member of this amazing community, and you can see what we're all about there. And if you wanted to learn about this class, go to thelightworkerslab.com/TDP. That's T as in teacher, D as in development, P as in program. Again, thelightworkerslab.com/TDP. We have our curriculum up there, and you'll read all about it. And the reason I want you guys to hear about it right now is because we are about to close enrollment, yes, tomorrow, but also since this is our first presentation of this class, we have it at a really screamingly low rate. And I'm not going to talk to you anymore about that. Y'all can just go and look at the curriculum, and it's a really great opportunity. I hope you will join us. Some really great things are happening there. All right. And now that is the business. Again, I'm Tricia Carr. If it's your first time joining, know that you can find me here every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific on UBN Radio, Channel 1. You can find this live broadcast on any of my social media outlets, which you could find by looking for Tricia Carr, Charmed Life with Tricia Carr, something like that. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Tricia Carr, and you could find all the archives of Charmed Life, as well as other teaching and offerings that I have, different kind of content. And my website is triciacarcharm.com. And that's the business about me. And now I'm very excited to welcome my in-studio guests. They are also hosts at the amazing Universal Broadcast Network with their show, The Eternal Hour. Please welcome Kevin Michaels and Préity Üpala.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Tricia, for having us. It's such an honor.
Yes, thank you for having us on.
I'm so excited to have you guys here. I'm so excited to hear, and for everyone else to hear a lot more about your show, The Eternal Hour. What an amazing title, first of all, for the show. Please tell us about your show, The Eternal Hour.
Well, thank you. I do claim responsibility for that title. It just kind of intuitively came to me in a dream. I think spirituality is the most important question of our time. I think we've found out time and time again with the technological advancements and the geopolitical environment that money does not make us happy. There are so many questions, more than we have answers for, and people are really going back home and they're asking that eternal question, who are we? Why are we here? What is love? What is truth? What is God? And I think the spiritual development is the most important thing for each and every one of us. And we are going through a paradigm shift. A lot of people talk about doom and gloom, but I actually think this is the time when everyone around the globe, they are waking up to their dharma, their real purpose, their real reason for being here, and really connecting back to their spirit and also connecting to a higher source. So this is a beautiful time. I think maybe the most evolved time in the evolution of the planet in a way. And we are so lucky to be alive and to witness it right in front of our eyes. We just thought if a show really needs to be made, it's a show about these topics, how do we get back home, how do we find ourselves, and how do we stay on the path. I think we talk a lot on our show about the path, the way, the Tao, and it keeps coming back to, you just have to be centered, be grounded, use all the beautiful spiritual tools that we have around us, because we are so very lucky to have them. Today it's so resourceful out there, but we have to stay with the truth and live in the heart and be of the truth. And I think that's when you truly living with purpose, and that's when you have fulfillment and true joy and true contentment.
Beautiful. Yes. That's and Kevin, how do you, I know your tagline of your show is spirituality in the modern world. So how do you look at that? Préity is speaking to that a bit, but
absolutely. It's perceived that times are changing, but I think we're actually going back to our roots and just being, as Préity says, being in the moment.
Yes.
Being present. People are finding that out, and changing your philosophy to a life of giving instead of a life of taking. We've been through this as a society, knowing how much we can take, and I think now with technology we reach capacity.
That's beautiful.
And we're starting to think about not just the purpose, but also what is our mission? What are we really here to do? And a lot of people, they can ask the question and they go for the answer, but they explore the mystery moreover. And time again, they've been eternal questions, which is why we sort of have this eternal hour. We're not really coming to one solid conclusion on something. So we're not going to give the quote-unquote answer, but we are going to puzzle it out. And we hope that our listeners benefit from just the fact that we can just be fast and loose of what spirituality means today and why it's so important to keep it in our hearts and our minds.
Yes. And we can't really give someone else their answer. It's interesting, Préity is intuitive. She's an astrologer. Which what would you say, astrologist?
Astrologer.
Yeah,
but
astrologer.
I like the word astrologist, just like I like the word spiritualist too.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's like one who. Well, yeah, I think astrologer is basically like one who studies, which is great.
Practices
right?
and interprets birth charts.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, as people who do serve others in spirituality, and you definitely do this with your show, regardless of whatever modality you might identify with or not, serving others, we can't really give someone else their purpose. And it's kind of a common question when people are feeling that way. They say, what's my life purpose? And I'm like, sweetheart, I can't answer that for you. Only you can go inside and find that. And so, like you say, Kevin, we're not going to give you the secret to life, because the secret to life is your secret, and it is about your life. So, but talking about it is just bringing resonance for someone else to elicit their own answers. Yes,
absolutely. And I think the role of the teacher, and we're all teachers here, is to guide and shed the light on the path of the person, because sometimes there is no light at the end of the tunnel, but a teacher or a spiritual guru sees more, and they can see the path ahead, and their job is to bring the person back to center and shed some light so that the person is on track with their spiritual goals, and keep supporting and motivating and inspiring them along the way to always, get your priorities right and be, walk the straight path.
Right. Yes. And Kevin, I liked what you said about we've reached capacity basically with the information age. And are you familiar with the author? Her name is Penny Pierce. You guys would love her. She has a book called Frequency, and she discusses basically the age that we're going into. From the information age, we're now going into, and I believe we already are in, the intuition age. And I like the way you frame that. We've reached capacity. What else can we do? You know what I mean? It's time to move into a different dispensation of an energetic composition, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, we have so much, but yet we have so little.
That's so true.
That's sort of what I've been witnessing. Everything can be looked up, but the universe is just a mirror of ourselves, and everything that's within us is in the universe. Yes. The universe is exactly built just the way we are.
Right. It's a reflection of our personal vibration.
Of your
it's our creation.
Subconscious as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Your subconscious is. I have been studying lately this book called Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. Do you know it?
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Wow.
And I was just, as Kevin, what you were saying about how it is the reflection, he says, I'm going to be paraphrasing, I'm not going to say it perfectly, that that your world, or you are what your world is what you are, and your failure to recognize that is the only reason you don't understand it. Your refusal to recognize it is the only reason you don't understand that. Your refusal to recognize that your subconscious mind is creating everything. And he likens the subconscious mind to the kingdom of heaven that is spoken about in like the sacred texts of different scriptures. Well, literally the kingdom of heaven is how it is phrased in the Bible, and as Jesus calls the kingdom of heaven is within, and saying that the subconscious mind is actually your heaven. It is it is the universe. It is the God essence.
That's true. And the world is a mirror.
Yes.
Perception becomes reality. So there's a beautiful quote someone once said. They were addressing to someone else, and they said, "You only exist because of my mind. It's my. You are a reflection and an illusion of my own mind. So nothing is happening to us. Everything is coming from within us. So if you're pissed off at the world out there, there's nothing wrong out there. It's wrong in here. You need to really realize that everything is created with your thought and with your spiritual connection and with your own conditioning and belief systems, and it's easy to think that the problem is out there, but it's not. You have to take total responsibility for everything that happens to you in your life, not just consciously with your with positive belief systems and positive perceptions, but also work on your karma, because it ultimately life is a great leveler. It is truly karmic, and everyone is living according to their own karmic blueprint, which is, astrology is beautiful because it can indicate somebody's karmic blueprint. That's exactly what it does.
Love that.
But you have to always know that your spirit really is in the driving seat. It's not the ego. That would be you're gonna run into you're gonna get involved in a car crash, I think, if your ego is driving. But if the spirit is driving, you're in good hands.
Yes.
But you have to trust.
Right, right. I just want to take a moment to say that we are taking calls, 323-524-2599, if you would like to ask a question about your karmic blueprint, perhaps, or a bit of an intuitive insight on something that's going on in your life or in your spiritual walk. 323-524-2599. And Kevin, so this is the kind of stuff you talk about on your show, like how to work on your karma and your karmic blueprint. I love these topics.
I've just been studying, the me, the manifest. That everything is a thing, comes from a space of your mind.
Yes.
Even some people put it out there. The theory is that matter is created from the mind's eye. Literally, matter that can be not created or destroyed.
Right.
And yet it can be rearranged.
Energy just is rearranged. That's it. Yeah.
By your perceptions. And there's been scientific studies about negativity, the effects on particles of water. They've seen it in the microscope, and they know how it has affected and so forth. But I think about this phrase of we remind ourselves of something we already know. These are truths. These are parts of natural law. And we can remind ourselves that we have free will within the boundaries of natural law.
Oh, right.
And so we'll hit up against it. We can be deniers. We can be deniers all we want. But if we are in accordance with natural law, if we're part of nature, then we'll be part of it. We'll embrace it.
Yes.
But every time that we try to run away from it, and that's what technology sometimes does, we try to run away from it and feel that we're finding some safe place when we know there really is no safe place. That's taking chances is what this is all about. Right. And we're rewarded by taking chances. And as Préity said about karma, you have to be out there in the trenches trying to help somebody else once you've already put yourself in a good place to be.
Yes, right. Serve from a full cup.
From a full, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
And that cup will always be overflowing.
Yes.
When you bring that wonderful spirit of love.
And exactly the way I think that some people who come in with the karmic blueprint of serving others, that maybe at the beginning of the life when you're starting out, because of the response to social convention and conditioning, that codependence might come and it might be tricking one into thinking that they are serving others when they're actually disserving themselves, and that isn't actually in service to other. Contained within that is first serving oneself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Honoring your own needs.
Right.
And your own truth. And isn't it fascinating? People always tend to relate spirituality with religion. Anytime I have a conversation about spirituality, people just start talking about religion. And I think one of the beautiful things about our show is it's not religious, it is truly a spiritual show, but we touch on the many different faiths out there, because all of these other world religions and world faiths, they have so much wisdom. Yes, and a lot of them are ancient. And we take all the gold nuggets from several Buddhism, Judaism, the Kabbalah, Sufism, Hinduism, and every episode we try to touch on one of these faiths and something very profound and wise, maybe a spiritual tool that they use, and we bring that into light. So you don't, you can practice whatever you like, but there's no harm in taking what works from another faith. And I think it's all about interfaith dependencies and the congregation. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. Both Jarvis and I come from the Christian church. And, at some point, I actually had a lot of spiritual growth when I was quite young. I was taking myself to church, and it wasn't something that was put upon me by my family. It was the only way I knew how to kind of pursue my own spirituality. And I did actually have some real spiritual growth. And but at some point when I became an adult, like right at my very young adulthood, I was actually just feeling harmed by the limitations. I thought that I was spiritual and not religious. That's what I would say. But then there was religion. There was still dogma that was imprisoning me. And it was, like I say, it was hurting me. It was hurting my heart. And I was told that you had to go to the church with the people and listen to what the man at the pulpit said, and you weren't allowed to look at any other book besides that one. And that this is, by the way, this is what this book means. Whatever you think it means isn't right. This is what it means. It's what the man on the pulpit says. And you're wrong about what you think it means. Ignore these parts and focus on these parts of this particular book. I mean, you know what I mean?
True.
Like that started to harm me. But after, like, where I am now, I am back because it is so part of that genesis for me of my spirituality. There are parts of it that I'm just reveling in and finding that gold again. But I think what redeemed me back into my spiritual pursuit with a full consciousness and full passion is exploring other consciousness modalities and a bit of like Sufism and stuff like that, and Hermetism too, or Hermeticism, I should say. Hermeticism, not Hermetism. That's like someone who is studying staying in their home.
Monk, yeah.
Hermeticism.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a religion by which we all agree, and that can be your spiritual power, your knowledge, but we're the person up on the pulpit. That's
yes.
We're
no
the,
matter what. Yeah.
Your internal voice is always going to be guiding you, and your intuition is always going to be guiding you. But quite often we back off of it and we stop our intuition. We don't listen to our gut.
Right.
And we need to do that more and more, especially these days. There's so much information coming in, so much data. So how do we process it? We don't have the processing time. So it's a lot of input, a lot of output, but no processing. So we have to be careful how we proceed, especially while people are watching us. I mean, when nobody's looking on the web, we put something out there and it's perceived as something, and maybe there's a certain element of shaming. Who knows? You never know, but you keep putting stuff out there. Now we're being perceived more and more to people we don't know, and they could be judging us. We have no idea. But there really is no judgment except what we do with ourselves. And if we're bathed in the Holy Spirit, everything will come. If we're anointed, it'll come.
I'm loving those
sure.
words right now. They're old. I haven't said something like bathed in the Holy Spirit in a long time, but it feels good, doesn't it?
Sure.
And we make a reference to Hollywood a lot on our show. But it's funny because this city and this industry, this is the epicenter of entertainment, but it's also the epicenter of illusion and delusion in the world.
Yes.
So whatever we speak about here, you could resonate. You could be in India or Dubai or anywhere in the world and still absolutely connect. It might be a little bit exaggerated here just because of the nature of what you have to deal with, the kind of narcissism and control and power hungry, all these issues come up a lot in the industry. But no matter where you are in the world, you can connect to what we're saying. We might describe an incident that happened to us, in Hollywood, in a studio or on set or whatnot. But it's universal.
Absolutely. We do have a caller. Yes, Jarvis? Yeah, we have a call starting to come in. So let's take one of them and we'll get back to our discussion maybe afterward.
Sounds good.
Hi, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Tricia. It's Terry. I'm with Diana this morning.
Oh, hi, Terry and Diana. Diana, I saw that you were waving at me on Facebook today. These are clients of mine.
Oh.
Diana, are you there, honey? Diana?
Well, I'm in the other room
so
that you can hear on
All
my
right, great.
phone.
Well, hi, Diana. How are you today? And so we're on with Kevin Michaels and Préity Üpala. Hello.
Yes. And we've enjoyed, what the discussion so far. And Diana has been continuing to struggle with some of her physical ailments. And we're trying to just continue to reconcile, like, how does that make sense to somebody who has always been, like, had great karma, always giving to others, and just can't seem to overcome these hurdles with her physical ailments.
Oh, beautiful question. Do you have some insight on that, Préity?
Yes, what I would say is, your karma runs very deep, and especially when you, if you start talking about things like rebirth and reincarnation, the soul has gone on this amazing journey over many lifetimes, and unless you really dig deep, we don't know what it's been through. So in this lifetime you might be thinking, but I'm a good person, but why does all of this happen to us? You have to look at the several lifetimes before to really honor and acknowledge what might have happened, what wrongs you might have done. And it's about total acceptance, surrender, and balance. So it's a tricky conversation to have with someone who's maybe they have cancer, and you're telling them that in a past life you might have killed someone, that's why you have cancer today. But in a very deep in the literal sense of the word, that is how your soul has been progressing. And I must say, I think everything that every human being goes through on this planet right now, your own journey, it's here so that you can grow the most. We manifest the life that will help us grow the most, and sometimes we have to go through more pain so that we grow further and that we grow to our highest potential. For some people, they might not have to, for whatever reason. It might be in one area and not the other. So just trust that you are in the right place, and keep having the faith, have gratitude, forgive yourself, love yourself, know that the divine is always here with you and is listening to all of your needs and is guiding you and is always there for you, ready to help and protect you. So I think the question keeps going back to have faith and be centered, just believe in your own love and power and live in the heart, come from love, give love, and it shall return, Mm-hmm. So just I wish you all the very best and a lot of good vibes and blessings to you.
Kevin, any thoughts for Diana?
Absolutely. We're always searching for answers, as Préity was saying, for why something happens to us. Why do we get sick? Our financial situation. And it's, you can fall into the trap of victimization and feel that either you brought it on yourself, or the world is against you, or the universe is not in alignment with what you're doing. And it's easy to do that. But we must put trust in ourselves, as Préity was just saying, that we may not know the particulars of how we got to this place, but we have to put a certain significance toward it, and say not just that it's maybe a divine plan, but also that it could be something that's leading us to something else, something very important that we need to do. And sometimes it's about reaching out to somebody who may also have that affliction. And that's happened quite often. Or sometimes there's a treatment that somebody comes up with. And that can be something that's beneficial to others as well as yourself. So that could be your karmic path as well.
Terry and Diana, I know you're listening in the other room. Diana, I know when we had our session, we talked about affirmations and that practice to help orient to, the higher mind. And what is coming for me, which I think is dovetailing from what Kevin and Préity are saying, high vibrational questions that you can be asking too. So as we were saying earlier, the subconscious mind is basically the heaven and it is the creator aspect of us. So sometimes we get into a situation where we are asking questions like, why am I in this pain? And basically the subconscious mind, and it's very normal, it's very natural, it's very human, especially when it's physical, because physical discomfort, pain, ailment, it's just the most challenging space to hold for yourself, which is beautiful. Your bravery, Diana, to be able to continue to be a loving child of God from the space of being in physical pain is powerful, because I can feel you right now, even though you're not on the line with us right now, Diana. I can feel you, and I can feel your heart, how giving, how loving that you are. And I know that you are even a bit depressed and almost a little bit of self-judgment because you feel like I have so much love to give, but the body is prohibiting me from being able to actually literally connect with others and give it. But I want to tell you, first of all, that you are just being, even you're in your home, you're sitting out. I know you love to sit out with the trees and sit on your, I think you have a deck or something like that. And just being in your heart and vibrating out your love and your intention, you are connecting with others. You are raising the vibration of this planet. You may not be on the phone with someone or speaking with someone in person, but you are, Diana. Your love is radiating out from the place that you are, no matter what. You are shining your light and you are raising the vibration of this planet by having that higher vibration. But what I wanted to say about the high vibrational questions. So if we asked the question, whether, in our mind or out loud, if the question we were basically sending out, why am I in pain? Why is my knee hurting? Basically the subconscious mind, it doesn't interpret what we ask it to create, it just creates. So by saying, why is my knee in pain? Why am I in pain? The subconscious mind goes and finds answers to that for you and says, oh, why? Well, here's more pain because you wanted to know about pain. Here's pain. That's basically how this mechanism works. That's how your creator aspect of your subconscious mind works. So we can just reach a little bit with our conscious mind, reach for a high vibrational question. I wonder what good will come of this. What is the good that can come of this that I'm experiencing? What am I moving toward that is positive? How can I feel more at ease about what is happening? How can I feel the light and the love that is actually in my life and my experience right now? What is the good thing that this ailment is showing me? What is it teaching me? What is it teaching me is really beautiful. Because I know that you understand that, Diana. You know that I know you've had obstacles that you've overcome, and you can see now something good came of that. It's not that the bad thing had to happen, like from the backside, but when you orient to love on the other side of the negative thing that happened, love is powerful enough that it can make a wrong a right, make a wrong exactly how it's supposed to be. So then when we orient to love and say, what did I learn from this? What was I taught? Then your subconscious mind says, even though this negative thing happened, something beautiful happened out of it because you oriented to love on the other side of it. Does that help, Terry?
I think it does.
Okay.
I'm going to peek in the other room and see. So give me a thumbs up.
Terry is Diana's daughter-in-law. She says yes. Oh, so lovely to connect. They're so beautiful, both of you.
Thank you so much.
How about you, Terry? How are you doing?
She says, I have been doing a lot of listening to Abraham Hicks.
Amen.
So I have been really trying to, stay on a high vibrational,
high flying disc, as she calls it.
path.
Yeah, good.
But it's really, I'll probably schedule something with you.
Okay. We can talk about it.
I don't want to take up the whole hour.
Oh, well, thank you so much for calling, and bless you both. Thank you. I love you both so very much. Diana, really lovely to connect with you today.
You too.
Oh, great. Well, do you want to take another call?
Sure.
Okay, and then we'll get back to our teaching. Hi, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hello.
Hello.
This is Matthew from Fayetteville, North Carolina. How are you ladies doing tonight?
Great. Good. How are you, Matthew?
I'm good. I just have a question for you guys.
Okay.
I'm 19 years old. I'm at a crossroads in life right now, honestly. Just kind of going some stuff personally. I'm trying to figure out what I need to do with, myself. Some like self-motivation. Like I'm kind of stuck on what I want to do as far as a career, and I'm not really in the correct mindset to make a decision fully by myself. So I need some kind of guidance or any kind of advice that you would be able to give to a young man like myself.
Okay. Sounds great. And Préity, do you have some guidance?
Absolutely. I would say turn to your passions. What do you really love? Because I think we are in an age where it's not about the corporate careers anymore. I think you will only succeed if you do what you truly love to do. And we are seeing a lot of entrepreneurs and people kind of doing it on their own and not going the traditional route.
I don't know what that is. Was that you, Matthew?
What?
Was that you that... First of all, can you turn down your computer?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I have bad reception in my phone.
Oh. All right. Okay, cool. And then I just want to acknowledge the weird thing. It said something like, I love something, and it sounded like dick or something like that. Was that you?
Ooh.
Did you guys hear that?
I heard
no,
that.
I'm hetero.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying you said it.
I heard it, and I was like, "Is this a prank?"
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to. You're not doing that. You're not trying to spam us or prank us.
No, I'm
Okay.
I'm serious. I need to figure out what's going on with my throat.
All right, good. Okay, I just wanted to acknowledge that and release it. No, I'm hetero. No, I wasn't.
just focus on things that you love, and what, you 10, 20 years from now, what would you imagine yourself doing, and be very happy with it. And try meditating, and I think it's the first thing that comes to your mind. That's the right answer. So just ask yourself, what do I really love to do? What is my gift? How can I serve the world? Well, if you meditate on these questions, you'll get some answers, and the first few responses they will guide you. So just
And
okay, I really
yeah, and then when you get those answers, what happens a lot of times when we get those answers, it's like, I want to be Conan O'Brien, or so, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be this famous talk show. And then you say, well, how can I? I live in North Carolina. That's not possible. People don't really do that. Or if you say, well, I want to be a basket weaver. Well, nobody these other voices come up in your mind and say, nobody makes money doing that. No one can do it that way. Or, you know what I mean? So ignore those hows, because the how is not your concern. The feeling, connecting with your heart to that which you love, everything else unfolds on its own. When you connect with your heart, then the universe will unfold it for you. And that's actually the fun part, is that the journey, you get to on stage and you take over Conan O'Brien's job when he retires, and you go, oh my gosh, look at that path that led me here. That was the roller coaster. So I wanted to let Kevin also
oh no, I agree. You have to look at your full potential, especially any juncture in your life. We're going to make those choices all throughout our lives, and especially people now have 4 or 5 careers, and they drive for Lyft on top of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. I'm kind of in the mix of my main choices or paths that I'm trying to take right now is like welding, structural welding, or what was I going to say? Psychology. My dad's a psychologist. And I'm also on the side thinking about becoming like 100% trapper.
100% trapper? What does that mean?
It's like there's a new company coming down in Fayetteville, and we're trying to make like state-of-the-art rat traps.
Oh, I see.
In our area, there's a really, really bad.
Do you have a lot of rats there?
Yeah, how's business?
You ever heard of Fayetteville?
You know what? And another tip that can really help you answer these questions is, what were you doing when you were a child? I know you're still very young, but when you were a kid, like for example, I was doing a few things. I was putting on different shows for my family, and I was dragging around a tape recorder and interviewing my family. And I was also wallowing around in nature and talking to animals, which is basically all of that I'm doing now. So as a child, we were very clear, and we've just come from divine. We're still so close to that pure consciousness. And so you can kind of look to what you were doing as a child for clues. If you were maybe hammering things together and building things, then the structural engineering probably makes a lot of sense. There's, as one of the clues. Would you guys agree? Yeah,
absolutely. I think one of the pitfalls is this on the side business.
That telling yourself that it isn't real.
The theory about when you dig for water, you dig a deep hole.
Yes.
You don't dig a bunch of holes trying to dig deep.
Right. That's great.
I would say focus on becoming an expert at something.
Beautiful. And if you have a lot of things that you love and a lot of passions, that's okay.
Yeah.
Start with one.
Yeah.
And become an expert at that. And know that you aren't giving up on the other things for which you have a passion.
They'll always be hobbies, and you'll always do them, and they'll give you a lot of joy. But focus on that one thing that will really take you to where you want to go in life. And you'll know, I think, if you think about the options, one of them will just, even when
light
you
up more.
Yeah, you'll just there'll be a joy inside of you that comes up. You'll notice. So just be very mindful of that.
Yeah, so just spend some time in your devotional meditational practice, Matthew, and I think it'll all unfold for you. Thanks so much for calling in.
Oh, most definitely.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank
big
you,
trappers
Matthew.
all the way from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Big smoke, big dope, big throat, baby.
Okay. Sounds
Thank
good,
you.
man.
Keep trapping those rats.
Later.
Oh my God.
Oh, how sweet.
Who knew?
I know, right? So I would love to hear about each of you. I'd love to hear about your journey that has brought you to where you are, whether it's your spiritual journey, your life journey. Kevin, how about you? Tell me how you got to...
Yeah, I started adopting a theory about always be training, always be studying. I was always the person that was a seeker, looking for something else, and I would be very sort of like what that caller was saying, how he's not in the right mindset to make a determination at this time, and I used that as an excuse and a crutch for a long time. That I was. It didn't mean that I didn't want to discuss it with people, or I wasn't where I was supposed to be at internally. But I used it as a crutch because I that was a great way to put it off. I'm saying I'm just not in the right space. But think about like how many things he had in front of him as choices. We have choices. We can always do a thing, a main idea, become a welder, those sorts of things. And for me, I was doing the same thing as you were saying. I was interviewing people.
You were.
And well, you probably invented the podcast, you know.
I did. I definitely did.
If you want to take an Al Gore approach to this of
Yeah.
of saying you invented it. But for me, I was always a seeker, and I was looking into all sorts of modalities, and I started to find, just the common connections in it. And in high school, people thought, "Oh wow, he listens to Ozzy Osbourne, which must be a Satanist. There must be." It's just so easy to do that. You're in your goth phase one year, or you play music, or you do something. And I noticed that all you have to do is literally go through the journey and find out what's going on, and it's not going to come from other people. And sometimes something will be a venue to make money, and you'll be great, or you join the corporate world, or you'll be trapping rats. All those kinds of things are great. But you may not love that. And you may not love trapping rats, but it's a good way to pay the rent for right now.
Yeah.
But vocations become part of our identities. So I was always felt like I was interviewing somebody. And like you were saying with your tape recorder, I fell in love with the tape recorder. And then you end up here. Which is wonderful. It's a great forum to use for helping people, and that's what you're here doing. You're helping people, and for other people, helping people is get rid of their rat problem, right?
Right.
So
absolutely.
we know this, and we just find what we're good at, and the opportunities in this country. I mean, I hear about some new job every day.
Right.
That did not exist when I was coming up.
Someone created.
That someone created.
From their
and
own
tech jobs.
Unique. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And industry is changing. And manufacturing is changing. Jobs are coming up. Factories are now coming into, they're going to make the iPhone right here in the USA. That's amazing for the first time.
Oh, really? Amazing.
That's never happened before.
Right.
So now people have the opportunity to do that. So it's all in your potentiality. Everything is about that. And the same thing with your spiritual path. You start to learn that, it's always been there. It's never went away. It's always been part of the infinite.
Yes.
And that's just a wonderful experiment that you can try with yourself, is to ask what you were saying before, is ask your divine questions.
Yes.
Go for it.
Right.
But it does take courage. I will admit that. Absolutely. And we debate that. It's great to hear from people that are going through this, especially if you're 19 years old going through it. But At 19, I don't know. He's probably more together than I was, Matthew.
Oh, for sure, me too.
Yeah.
I was just running crazy. I mean,
Sure.
I mean that sounds like I was out. I mean, in my mind, I felt quite crazy, and I felt really ungrounded. Yeah, no, I wasn't doing cool stuff at all. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's right. I can say shit. I wasn't doing cool shit at all. I asked it because we're on iHeartRadio, and so the reason to just give you guys some context on why Jarvis is laughing over there. We're on iHeartRadio. Yay, Woo! That's awesome.
Awesome.
And I wasn't sure if I could use curse words because I said I said sometimes Mama gotta say shit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still we're still, even though we're talking about spirituality, we're still just being people up in here.
It's true.
And so, Préity, tell us about your journey, please.
That's it's so fascinating. I look back at my life and I realize every single thing that happened is so perfect.
Yes,
divine
right?
orchestration. I was born in Dubai, and then my family moved to Europe before they moved to Australia. And I worked as an investment banker in Sydney. And I gave that up because it wasn't my dharma in life. Yes. And I was both a seeker in life and also an outsider. I've always been every single country. I'm always the outsider in every room and every school and any space I've been in. But that's only empowered me to live life on my own terms, to be authentic, to not try to find approval or resonance from the peer group, because I had to honor what I was about, because I knew I was coming from I was not of that ilk, I was from elsewhere. So finding that, but also of course finding the oneness too. So I went through my spiritual journey early on after I started working in the corporate world, and I realized that, you only get one life, and I don't want a life full of regrets. So I really started meditating and doing a lot of yoga and really asking myself what my gift to the world is. Then I realized it's to inspire people, to empower people, and I love creativity and entertainment and anything artistic. And then the answers came, and I realized it's film. Acting both in front and behind the camera. So I gave everything up, cold turkey. I gave up my big cushy job and all of this stuff in Sydney. I bought a one-way. I won a scholarship to study in New York for a scholarship that I didn't even apply for. So that was magic. And then I just bought a one-way ticket and I came here. And the most ironic thing is I thought I was coming to Hollywood to become a global superstar. And the real reason why I was guided to come here is my own spiritual journey and to be the most that I came here to be.
Beautiful.
And Hollywood is a platform for me. And through that platform, I can reach more people. And there's a purpose to trying to be globally recognized for me. It's not just the end, it's a means to an end for me.
It's the means, yes.
Yeah.
It's the commodity.
Reach as much people and touch lives. You can do that when you have the notoriety and you have when you are recognizable on a global stage. Not everybody uses it for that purpose. They use it for, everyone has their own karmic journey. But I think this is my dharma, and I've been told by so many intuitives, unless you really do what you are meant to do, somebody like you've been around the block, you're an old soul. Yes. So the rules are a little bit different for you. You have to really honor it, your purpose, and or else there will be no peace.
It becomes very painful. Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. We just have a minute left, but I wanted to say, before I ask you guys to tell everyone how they can be in touch with you and where to find your show, that you have this, you know her already, this powerful guide with you, and she feels very much like an ascended master, and she's bright golden and pink, and the way she shows herself to me is that you are a direct descendant of her, almost like you are one soul together. She's very powerful. Is this someone you're familiar with, that you connect with?
Is it a real person, or is it more an energy?
She probably more like an energy. I'm seeing mostly just light, but I see a form inside that light. So this is why I think she's a master.
I'm connecting to one of the deities.
Okay,
because
that makes sense.
I'm
yes.
Lakshmi or Parvati or Saraswati. I'm very.
I think it's Lakshmi. Actually,
I feel very connected to even Kali. I'm very connected to all of them. I was actually at the Hindu temple in Malibu yesterday, and I prayed to all of these deities, and I just sat with the goddess, and I always pray for clarity, for focus, for strength, and I always ask for, let me be this fierce power that I came here to be.
She's very powerful, yes.
And she always showers her guidance and her love on me, and I know that she's always my path is always protected. Nothing will ever go wrong. The situation always corrects itself around me.
Yes.
So all I have to do is be the love and light and just know her presence and have faith in the divine.
Kevin, you have this, he's like a doctor and an engineer, and he's an ancestor guide, and he is, but that sounds very dry. He's not very dry. He's very powerful as well. And so this is who I'm seeing for you. But I want you guys, I know we're out of time, please tell folks how and we are really out of time, tell them how they can find your show and your websites, anything you want to share. And thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yes, you can find our show, The Eternal Hour, right here on UBN. All right, on iTunes,
UBNradio.com and
Stitcher
iTunes.
and all the usuals.
Wonderful
Places, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today on Charmed Live. Thank you, Kevin Michaels, and my guest also, Préity Üpala. And I will see you next time on Charmed Live. Thank you for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.